Hi, we are William Rinaldi and Eduardo Russo. We make up Team 10-1 in IST302 at Pennsylvania State University. We are here to talk about Scrum. So what is Scrum? Let's first discuss where the name Scrum comes from. In rugby, a scrum, short for scrimmage, is when one team huddles together in an effort to move the opposing team. The rugby scrum is not unlike a software development scrum. A software development team works together to move a project towards its goal. A software project will have its own opposition in the form of strategic, communication, technical, and budget challenges, to name a few. But with a successful implementation of Scrum, a software development team can keep the project moving forward towards its goal. To understand what Scrum is, it is helpful to understand why Scrum was created. The waterfall approach is considered the more traditional approach to software development. It is often developed using a Gantt chart that displays a very linear progression through a project. The waterfall approach carries with it the flawed assumption that it is possible to completely and correctly plan a very large software development project from the beginning. The planning phase and development of the project Gantt chart in a waterfall approach takes a considerable amount of time and effort to complete. But according to Jeff Sutherland, co-developer of the Scrum system, the problem with the Gantt chart, though truly impressive to behold, is that they are always wrong. Scrum is the solution for the flawed approach of the waterfall methodology. So now that we know why Scrum was created, let's talk about what Scrum is. Scrum is an agile project management framework that is iterative and incremental. The most notable features of Scrum are that it is made up of small cross-functional and autonomous teams of ideally 7 or less, with work being completed in short blocks of time periods of 4 weeks or less. The 3 tangible items of Scrum, known as artifacts, are the product increment, the product backlog, and the sprint backlog. The short stages of work are known as sprints. The collection of sprints that make up the work of the entire project is called the product backlog. Each sprint is further broken down into smaller tasks in a sprint backlog. The product increment is the finished product delivered at the end of the sprint. The 3 roles of Scrum are product owner, Scrum master, and development team. The product owner describes what the product should be. They create and maintain the product backlog by organizing the sprints into the product backlog in order of priority. The flexible nature of Scrum allows the product owner to adjust sprints as required during an activity known as a product backlog refinement. The Scrum Master is a moderator and is responsible for helping the team to progress through their sprints. It is the Scrum Master's job to remove any obstructions that are preventing the team from completing its current sprint. The development team is responsible for completing the work within the sprint. Each day, the development team holds a 15-minute stand-up meeting known as the Daily Scrum. During the Daily Scrum, team members ask 3 questions. What did I achieve yesterday that relates to the sprint goal? What do I intend to do today that relates to the sprint goal? Are there any obstructions to the team achieving the sprint goal? At the completion of the sprint, an end of sprint review occurs. The development team estimates in days how long each sprint will take. The estimates are used by the project owner to create release burndown charts to help monitor the progress of the project. Each completed sprint decreases the total estimated days remaining until the estimate is at 0 and the work is completed. The project is complete when all sprints have been completed by the development team. Scrum is used mainly by software development firms, but can be used by any company with a desire to utilize an agile project management framework. Adapting Scrum takes trust and courage, so it is important that any company that attempts to use Scrum has those qualities. The first known use of Scrum was during the early 1990s when Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland were using a new approach to development at their respective companies. In 1995, they worked together to present a paper describing this new approach called Scrum to the Business Objective Design and Implementation Workshop held at Objective-Oriented Programming, Systems, Languages, and Applications 95. This would be the first time Scrum was presented to the public. Over the next few years, Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland would work together to organize and improve their ideas to create the Scrum of today. While Scrum has many benefits to its development approach, there are also a few issues. An important issue regarding the Scrum process is its inability to easily adapt to sudden changes in the scope of the project due to its fast-paced nature. The project can also be vulnerable to scope creep when there is no hard end date, which may tempt stakeholders to demand new features and functionality during the course of the Scrum process. In addition to the problems dealing with scope creep and changes to scope, Scrum development makes it difficult to adapt to changing team members during the course of a sprint. Due to the fast pace of the process, it is difficult to rotate new team members into the mix, especially when they are picking up where somebody else left off. Where does Scrum go from here? Since its creation, Scrum has continued to grow and evolve into the process we know today. Initially, Scrum was designed to manage one project at a time. However, over time, the demand on the development teams grew and Meta-Scrums were developed. With the creation of Meta-Scrums, teams were able to work on simultaneous sprints, which resulted in increased team efficiency. Scrum will continue evolving to make teams more agile and efficient. The future of Scrum will involve improvements in automated regression testing, quality assurance, and data reporting. Improving in these areas will allow the team to focus more on developing and less on testing and reporting.